guys, and welcome back to Reading Club. Today I'm going to read you a new book called The 39th Story Treehouse. Chapter 1, 2, and 3. Chapter 1, The 39th Story Treehouse. Hi, my name is Andy. This is my friend, Terry. We live in a tree. But there's nobody here. Well, when I say tree, I mean tree house. And when I say tree house, I don't just mean any old tree house. I mean a 39th story tree house. It used to be a 26th story tree house, but we've added another 13 stories. So what are you waiting for? Come on up. We've added a trampoline without a net. Oi, get out of the way. Does this seem a bit dangerous to you, Andy? Yes. Chocolate waterfall. No, not swimming in the chocolate waterfall. An active, non-erupting volcano. This volcano is great from toasting marshmallows, Terry. Are you sure it's not going to erupt? Relax, Andy, of course, I'm sure. An opera house. Jimi Hendrix and Superfinger tomorrow night. A baby dinosaur petting zoo. Ouch, it bit my finger off. I told you to be careful, Andy. Bring it here and I'll sew it back on. What, Mama? An Andy and Terry's Believe It or Else museum. Andy and Terry's Believe It or Else museum. A boxing elephant called the Trunkinator. He can knock you out with one punch from his mighty trunk. Path, roll up, try your luck with the Trunkinator. Well, not a very merry-go-round. An exterior room where you can see your own skeleton. Yikes, a skeleton. Relax, Terry, it's yours. No, I've got a skeleton inside me. A disco with a light-up dance floor and giant mirror ball. A high-tech office with laser erasers, semi-automatic staple guns, and jet-propelled swivel chairs. Laser eraser. Semi-automatic staple gun, jet-powered swivel chair, laser eraser, semi-automatic staple gun, jet-propelled swivel chair. And the world's scariest roller coaster. It's so fast, so dangerous, and so terrifying that even dead people are scared to go on it. Eek, no! You have to be this big to ride. Only for the very brave, frightening, danger, scary, very deadly. I dare you to have a ride. No way, I may be dead, but I'm not crazy. And as well as all that, there's a level that is so new that Terry hasn't even finished it yet. I can't wait to see what it is. Still doing it. So you'll have to wait a bit. Keep out. This means you. Don't look. Top secret. As well as being our home, the treehouse is also where we make As well as being our home, the treehouse is also where we make books together. I write the words and Terry draws the picture. As you can see, we've been doing this for quite a while now. The 26th story treehouse. Read it again. What penguin is that? Sure, it's easy to get distracted when you live in the 39th story treehouse. I mean, there's just so much to do. Too slow, Chunky. Miss me. Oi. But somehow, we always get our books written in the end. Like, too many sharks, not enough goldfish. We did it! Great characters, not enough rabbits. Hey, that's us! Box of books. Chapter 2, the 39th level. If you're like most of our readers, you're probably wondering how long it takes Terry and me to write a book. Well, I guess the answer to that really depends on whether it's a long book or a short book. Long books take longer to write than short books, which doesn't take as long to write as long books, which, as I said, take longer to write than short books, excuse me. Here's Terry. Hi, Andy, he says. What are you doing? I'm just telling the readers about how long it takes us to write a book. Need to tell them that it depends on whether it's a long book or a short book, he says. Yes, I say. And that a long book takes longer to write than a short book? Yes, I say. And did you tell them how a short book doesn't take as long to write as a long book? Yes, I say. I explained all that. Okay, there's no need to shout, says Terry. I bet there's one thing you didn't tell them, though. What's that? That this book is hardly going to take us any time at all, no matter how long or short it ends up being. How do you figure that? Well, says Terry, Ring, 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 ring. That's our 3D video phone. Hang on, Terry, I say. I better answer. It's probably Mr. Big Nose. As you know, he always calls around the beginning of a chapter 2 to remind us about the deadline for our latest book. I jet-shared over to the video phone and accepted the call. It's Mr. Big Nose, all right. Nobody else in the world has a nose that big. What kept you? He says. Sorry, I say. I was just explaining to the readers how long it takes us to write a book. Do you tell them it depends on whether it's a short book or a long book? He shouts. Yes, sir. And how a long book takes you a longer time to write than a short book? Yes, I say. And the short books don't take as long as long books? Yes, I say. I explained all that. Stupid chair. And did you tell them that I always call around the start of chapter 2 to remind you when your next book is due, which is, in this case, tomorrow afternoon? Tomorrow afternoon, I say, but that's tomorrow, in the afternoon. Exactly, says Mr. Big Nose, and no later than 5 o'clock, or else. Before I can explain how completely and utterly and totally impossible that's going to be, Terry flies over and hovers between me and the screen. No problem, Mr. Big Nose, he says. It's all under control. It'll be on your desk by 5 o'clock tomorrow without fail. See you then. Bye. Terry hangs up. Are you out of your mind? I say. I don't think so, says Terry. Why do you ask? Because you just promised Mr. Big Nose that tomorrow we will deliver a book which we haven't been started yet because you've been too busy building your secret 39th level. But that's what I was trying to tell you, says Terry. Before Mr. Big Nose called, what I've been doing on the 39th level is going to solve our book writing problems forever. Follow me and I'll show you. Terry takes off and I jet-chair after him towards the top of the tree. Top secret, private, keep out. We hover outside the 39th level, which is still all boarded out and covered in keep out signs. Well, I say, what is it? Only the greatest invention that I or anyone else has ever invented, says Terry. Snip. He cuts a ribbon and the barrier falls away to reveal the greatest invention that Terry or anyone else has ever invented. Well, says Terry, what do you think? It's the greatest invention that you or anyone else have ever invented, I say. But what is it? Once upon a time machine, says Terry. A time machine? I say, cool, so we can go back in time, write our book, and meet our deadline after all. Well, no, not exactly, says Terry. It'll help us meet our deadline, all right, but it's not a time machine. It's a once upon a time machine. It'll write and illustrate the entire book for us. It can write a whole book, I say, all by itself. It sure can, says Terry. It's got 2 sets of hands, one pair for typing at super speed, and another pair for drawing. You can draw with both hands at the same time. Wow, I say, and we don't have to do anything? No, all we have to do is program it. We just tell it what sort of story we want and turn it on. The machine does the rest. It's brilliant, I say. How long will it take? Well, says Terry, it all depends on whether you want a long book or a short book. Long books take longer to write than short books, and short books take less time to write than long books. What about a 344-page book? I say. About 8 hours, says Terry. Perfect, I say. Let's turn it on and get started then. Not so fast, says Terry. What do you mean not so fast? I say. Our deadline is tomorrow. We haven't got a moment to lose. I know, says Terry, but the thing is, I can't turn it on yet. The machine is so big and complicated with so many different parts that I used up every last on-off switch I had. I've ordered a new one, though, and I'm expecting it to be delivered any moment. Ding dong. Ah, says Terry, that's probably it now. We look down. There's a postman at the front door. And not just any postman, it's Bill the postman. But that's impossible because, well, Bill is dead. Chapter 3, Bill the Postman's Story. Terry and I look at each other in horror. Do you see who I see? Says Terry. Yes, I say, it's Bill. But it can't be, says Terry. In the last book, we saw him skeleton in the Maze of Doom, remember? The time we saw Bill's skeleton in the Maze of Doom. Words. The Maze of Doom. Me. Frame. Bill's skeleton. Bill's cap. Terry. Jill. Paper. The Maze of Doom. Yes, of course I remember, I whisper, which means that it can't be Bill down there. It must be a zombie. Delivery, calls the zombie. It sounds like Bill, says Terry. That's the part of its evil plan, I say. What evil plan, says Terry. To deliver our mail and then eat our brains, I say. Don't you know anything about zombies? Andy, calls the zombie. Terry, anyone home? He knows our names, says Terry. It must be Bill. Yeah, I say. Bill the zombie. Come on. You two chuckleheads, says the zombie. I can hear you up there. I got a package for you. Can you leave it at the door? I say, we're kind of busy. Afraid not, says the zombie. It's a special delivery from Switches R Us. I'm going to need you to sign for it. We need the switch, Andy, whispers Terry. Yeah, and we also need our brains, I whisper back. I'm not a zombie, you know, calls the zombie. Did you hear that, Andy? Says Terry. He says he's not a zombie. That's exactly the sort of thing that a zombie would say, I tell him. We can't risk it. All right then, calls Bill. If you won't come down, then I'm coming up. Oh no, I yell. It's a zombie attack. Grab the flamethrowers, Terry. What flamethrowers? The ones you were supposed to make to protect against zombie attack. Oh, those flamethrowers, says Terry. I didn't get around to it. I was too busy working on the 39th level. They won't be necessary, says Bill as he climbs onto our level. I'm no zombie. I'm very much alive. Well, we thought you were dead, says Terry. Bill grins. So did I when I read the 26th story treehouse and saw the picture of a skeleton wearing my postman's cap. I was very sad for a while until I realized that if I was feeling sad, then I must be still alive. So it couldn't have been me in the picture after all. But if it wasn't you, says Terry, then who was it? Well, that's a bit of a long story, says Bill. And as you know, long stories take longer to tell than short stories, which, yes, we know, I say. Can you make it a short, long story? Sure, says Bill, beginning to tell his short, long story. Well, you may not know this, but a postman's life is not an easy one. You get chased by dogs, attacked by birds, and sped at by cardinals. Sorry, Bill. But worse than any of these things is the ever-present threat of being ambushed by the birthday card bandits. The birthday card bandits, says Terry. They sound bad. They are bad, says Bill. Better than you can imagine, and feared by postal workers throughout the land. Why, I say, why did they do that so bad? Wanted any information leading to the arrest of the birthday card bandits. Big reward, etc., etc. Well, says Bill, they dig holes in the ground, cover them with sticks and leaves, and then wait for poor innocent postmen like me to fall into them. Once they caught a bunch of postmen, they take their uniforms, dress up in them, and then go through the stacks of mail and steal the money and the birthday cards that kind grandparents have sent to their grandchildren for their birthdays. And as if that's not bad enough, they write back to the grandparents pretending to be the child and ask the grandparents to send more money to replace what was stolen. And when they do send more money, the birthday card bandits steal that as well. That's terrible, says Terry. I know, says Bill, but that's not even the worst thing they do. What could they possibly do that is worse than stealing a child's birthday money, I say. I'll tell you what, says Bill. Sometimes they intercept the children's birthday party invitations as well. Then they go around to the house where the birthday parties are being held and steal the balloons right off the front gate. And that's not all. They steal the children's party hats, party blowers, presents, and sometimes they even steal the birthday boy or girl's birthday wish by blowing out the candles on their birthday cake first. And those fins, says Terry, those fins, they say. But how does all this explain what that folk postman was doing in the Maze of Doom in your uniform? Well, says Bill, like many postmen, I too was captured by the birthday card bandits. They stole my uniform and tied me up. I guess the bandit who was wearing my uniform must have gone into the Maze of Doom to hide from the police, and of course he couldn't find his way out again. If he could only take those warnings seriously. Yeah, as if. Well, I'm glad it wasn't you in the Maze of Doom, I say. Me too, says Terry. I'm going to add another sign to the entrance, so there's no chance of that ever happening again. No fake postmen allowed, especially you birthday card bandits.